In this question, you will be asked to talk about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare a response and 45 seconds to record the response. Some college students choose to take courses in a variety of subject areas in order to get a broad education. Others choose to focus on a single subject area in order to have a deeper understanding of that area. Which approach to course selection do you think is better for students, and why?
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
I believe it is better for students to focus on a single subject area for two reasons. The first reason is that specializing in one subject will assist them when they start a career. For example, studying advanced level engineering courses will give those students a better chance of getting an engineering job after they graduate than those who did not. The second reason is because students who focus on a single subject area will be able to spend their time more efficiently during school. They don't have to take courses that they are not interested in, and they can use time to do research and internships instead.
In this question, you will read a short passage, listen to a talk, and answer a question about them. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. The university is planning to eliminate its bus service. Read the article from the university newspaper about the plan. You will have 45 seconds to read the article. Begin reading now. Now listen to two students discussing the article.
I don't like the university's plan.
Really? I've ridden those buses, and sometimes there were only a few people on the bus. It did seem like kind of a waste.
I see your point, but I think the problem is the route's out of date. It only goes through the neighborhoods that have gotten too expensive for students to live in. It's ridiculous that they haven't already changed the route, so it goes where most off-campus students live now. I bet if they did that, they'd get plenty of students riding those buses.
Well, at least they're adding more parking. It's gotten really tough to find a space.
That's the other part I don't like, actually. Cutting back the bus service and adding parking's just going to encourage more students to drive on campus. And that'll just add to the noise around campus and create more traffic. And that'll increase the need for more parking spaces.
Yeah, I guess I can see your point. Maybe it would be better if more students used the buses instead of driving.
Right. And the university should make it easier to do that, not harder.
The man expresses his opinion of the university's plan to eliminate the bus service. State his opinion and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
The university article explains that the university is planning to eliminate the free bus service for students. The man disagrees with the university's plan for 2 reasons. For the first reason, he believes that the reason for the reduced number of students that is using the bus service currently is due to the bus route driving through neighborhoods that are too expensive for students to live in. He claims if the bus drives through neighborhoods the students actually live in, then more students would use the bus service. The man believes that also expanding the parking space will motivate more students to drive towards or on campus and causing increased noise and traffic. He suggests that the school should make it easier for students to use the school's bus service rather than completely eliminating it.
In this question, you will read a short passage, listen to a talk, and answer a question about them. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. Now read the passage about the nature of social interaction. You will have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a talk in a sociology class. The professor is discussing audience effects.
Okay, so we said that the way we interact with others has an impact on our behavior. In fact, there's some interesting research to suggest that in one type of interaction, when we're being observed, specifically when we know we're being watched as we perform some activity, we tend to increase the speed at which we perform that activity. In one study, college students were asked to each put on a pair of shoes with laces they would have to tie. Now, one group of students was told that they would be observed. The second group, however, didn't know they were being observed. The students who were aware that they were being watched actually tied their shoes much faster than the students who thought they were alone. Other studies confirm the same is true even when we're learning new activities. Let's say someone is learning a new task, for example, learning how to type. When they're conscious of being observed, they'll likely begin typing at a much faster rate than they would if they were alone. But, and this is interesting, the study also showed that certain common behavior, things people typically do, like making mistakes when you're learning something new, that behavior pattern will also increase. So in other words, when we're learning to type and we know we're being watched, we'll type faster, but we'll also make more mistakes.
Explain how the examples of tying shoes and learning to type demonstrate the principle of audience effects.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
Both the passage and the lecture discuss the topic of audience effects. This is the difference in behavior of people when they are and are not aware that they are being observed by other people. The lecturer provides 2 examples of audience effects. In the first example, the lecturer states that an increase in speed of activity is observed when humans are aware that they are being watched compared to when they are not aware. In a study, college students who were aware of being watched tied their shoelaces significantly faster compared to those who were not. In a second example, the lecturer explains that people who are aware of having an audience will increase the number of mistakes when they are learning new activities. In a study, people were found to type faster with an increased number of mistakes when they were aware of an audience.
In this question, you will listen to part of a lecture and answer a question about it. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare a response and 60 seconds to record the response. Now listen to part of a talk in an economics class.
So, let's talk about money. What is money? Well, typically people think of coins and paper bills as money, but that's using a somewhat narrow definition of the term. A broad definition is this. Money is anything that people can use to make purchases with. Since many things can be used to make purchases, money can have many different forms. Certainly, coins and bills are one form of money. People exchange goods and services for coins or paper bills, and they use this money, these bills, to obtain other goods and services. For example, you might give a taxi driver $5 to purchase a ride in his taxi, and he in turn gives the $5 to a farmer to buy some vegetables. But as I said, coins and bills aren't the only form of money under this broad definition. Some societies make use of a barter system. Basically, in a barter system, people exchange goods and services directly for other goods and services. The taxi driver, for example, might give a ride to a farmer in exchange for some vegetables. Since the vegetables are used to pay for a service, by our broad definition, the vegetables are used in barter as a form of money. Now, as I mentioned, there's also a second, a narrower definition of money. In the United States, only coins and bills are legal tender, meaning that by law, a seller must accept them as payment. The taxi driver must accept coins or bills as payment for a taxi ride, okay? But in the U.S., the taxi driver is not required to accept vegetables in exchange for a ride. So a narrower definition of money might be whatever is legal tender in a society, whatever has to be accepted as payment.
Using points and examples from the talk, explain the two definitions of money presented by the professor.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
The professor discusses two definitions of money. The first definition is a broad definition, which includes anything that can be used as payment, such as coins, bills, or goods and services. Goods and services can be used in a barter system. For example, a farmer can pay for a taxi ride by paying the driver with his harvested vegetables. These vegetables, which are other goods and services, would be the payment for a taxi drive. The second narrow definition of money is what is legally accepted as a payment method. In the United States, coins and bills are the only legal tender. Therefore, a taxi driver must accept payment in the form of coins and bills from their customers. Nothing else can be used as payment. Hence, a customer for a taxi cannot expect the driver to accept vegetables as a payment method.